back to Thrasher's Ghetto Fab Garage. We're going to continue working on the 32 Ford two-door project here, and we're going to continue with the recessed firewall here, modifying the stock one to fit the motor set back. So on this video, I'm going to focus, I think, on getting this bracket moved here. It was when the firewall was out here, it was straight down, and then this spot welded in there. So what I want to do, I believe, I'm going to cut this off here, and I want to do something to kind of tie this together and spot weld it back into here. So I'm going to start with that. I'm going to get that up on here, and then maybe move on to how I'm going to do the recess down here by putting a piece right here, and then making a whole new, I think I'm going to make a whole new bottom, probably just 18 gauge, roll some beads in it or something just to tie that in and get this firewall, you know, kind of roughed in and done for now. So that way the car's got some more structure, which is what I'm kind of aiming for here. So we get set up and we'll get working on this this top brace here. Alright, so here's a rough attempt here. I started putting this piece together here, and you can see this side lines up pretty well there, and this shape or whatever you're trying to make here. This side lined up awful, so I think what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to, I had a tack here, I cut that off. I'm going to try and pull it right here to get it where it needs to be, and then tack it back together.
Déjame una vez, te perdono. Déjame otra vez, no te conozco. Yo te di todo. Déjame sola hoy en la mañana. Déjame para allá, se va la gana. Yo te di todo. Siempre me dices que me amas, pero siempre en la cama cuando digo que te amo, sé que no te vale nada, no me juegues como ajedrez. Siempre me dices que me amas, pero siempre en la cama cuando digo que te amo, sé que no te vale nada, no me juegues como ajedrez.
All right, guys, here's the piece. I got it in a pretty decent piece here. Not bad for all the weird angles and stuff I had to do. And I just did a lot of welding, grinding, filing, and got a pretty close piece here. And fit is okay here. I'm gonna go ahead and just get this tacked in for now. And then when I get the when I pull the firewall back out is when I will go ahead and do this finish tie into the front here and everything. It's going to be a little hammering, welding, same thing, filing, grinding, whatever, to make that make it all fit and look factory. But when it's said and done, I believe that'll look pretty cool, and it will again tie into this, making the thing look like it was supposed to be there. So a little bit of the factory piece, a little factory firewall, added some pieces to it, and I think it's gonna tie in real nice. All right, guys, so there's the piece. Just slightly tacked into position there. And as you can see, I got kind of a gap here in the front. It doesn't fit quite exactly how I wanted it. I think the plan is going to be to get it spot welded here, on this back piece. Pull this in nice and tight, and then into here. If I can get it in, actually. So yeah, probably into here. And then I will go ahead and I will hammer this down a little bit, push this around, and get this final weld a little tighter here. And probably roll this front over with the hammer just to kind of round everything off and make it nice and tight. But all in all, not too bad. And like I said, I think it ties into my, having a stock piece look to it, stamped, from, in the factory 1932. Trying to keep that theme going here. I think there's a little details here that will tie this in to make this look correct, make it look right, make it doesn't look like it's half-assed, and just let it flow and work. And details like this, no one will even know you did them at the end, but you'll see them with your eye. I think, at least I do at the end. They all tie together and make a real nice finished product. So I went and pulled the this bracket I made off of here. I was trying to get it to fit better. I could not get it to fit, and I could not figure out why. As soon as I pulled it off, I could see that I had left 2 temporary tacks on there that I had when I attacked this bottom part of the bracket on there to get everything lined up, and I never ground them off, and that's why it was fitting so awful. So I got those ground off, and now it fits much better. As you can see, fairly tight, and I can do the final fitment on that one, and the firewall comes out of the car. So kind of a dumb oversight or whatever, but we got it closer now, and I'll get it tacked in, and I'm going to move on to the bottom of the firewall. So I got the panel made. It's going to fit in here. Just use a piece of, I don't know if it's quite as thick. Maybe it's probably 18 gauge. But if I had it laying around here, but I did put an X in here, just a bead to make, give it a cool look, make it look like it was, stamped from the factory from 32. I'm still working. The bead roller is a tool I'm not terribly proficient in yet. I'm going to keep working on that, keep practicing, keep watching YouTube videos. But I think all in all, it looks pretty good. And I'm going to get this tacked in here, and we'll move to the next side. I'll set up a time lapse over there so we can actually see how I build it. At this time, I was just kind of messing around to see, how I could make this work. So I don't always put those on video because sometimes they don't work. It's a waste of my time. So all right, I'll get this tacked in here, and then I will move to the driver's side.
Déjame una vez, te perdono. Déjame otra vez, no te conozco. Yo te di todo. Déjame sola hoy en la mañana. Déjame para allá, se va la gana. Yo te di todo. Siempre me dices que me amas, pero siempre en la cama.
Never thought I'd be videoing everything I fucking do in my life.
Is it necessary?
It's kind of fun. Huh? It's gonna make money someday.
No. That's why I like everywhere.
Nice, do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Good.
When I remember.
That's good. Since I put Jamie's truck on there, a lot of people are watching now.
Oh, this isn't good, Matthew.
What's that?
This isn't good, Matthew. Don't tell me. This isn't good.
What isn't good? I don't know what you're pointing at.
There's green stuff coming out the chimney.
Oh.
This isn't good.
The ladder right there.
Déjame una vez, te perdono. Déjame otra vez, no te conozco. Yo te di todo. Déjame sola hoy en la mañana. Déjame para allá, se va la gana. Yo te di todo. Siempre me dices que me amas, pero siempre en la cama. Cuando digo que te amo, sé que no te vale.
All right, guys, got the bead rolled in here. I like to do X's. I think they just look like they belong on a 32 firewall. It's got that kind of that industrial look to me. There's a little. I got to look this up on YouTube because I don't know exactly how to do this across here. You know, when you run the bead roller back and forth, it crushes it a little bit. Obviously, you're coming across the bead, but I think it looks pretty good for firewall. And I will go ahead and get this piece tacked in here, and then we'll move on to the actual the center of the firewall. I'll get that done. So I'll get this tacked in there, and we'll move on to that. Here's the piece tacked in, and you can see I got a little gap here. That's when I cut this with the Sawzall. I had to cut it a little off, so I'm going to fill that gap in. I'm going to make a little filler piece here now and fill that in. But all in all, it looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and move on, get that done, then move on to building that back piece. I'm working on the bottom of the firewall here, and kind of got this laid out. And just measured the width and the height that I need here, and laid out the where you see kind of where the tunnel's going to be. And what I did to do that was I have another 5/7 block over here. Heavy. I measured the kind of the width, the bottom. It goes with about 17 inches of clearance I'm going to need. So I found the top. This is coming from with existing firewalls in the car to kind of where I want the top of the tunnel to be, and I went ahead and marked that out. And then went down here and just took a piece of wire, welding wire, and just used it to make a circle, like a compass, and then pulled it down. So I'm going to go now ahead and cut that out and see how close I am, and see if I can make this work.
Déjame una vez, te perdono. Déjame otra vez, no te conozco. Yo te di todo. Déjame sola hoy en la mañana. Déjame para allá, se va la gana. Yo te di todo. Siempre me dices que me amas, pero siempre en la cama. Cuando digo que te amo, sé que no te vale nada. No me juegues como ajedrez. Siempre me dices que me amas, pero siempre en la cama. Cuando digo que te amo, sé que no te vale nada. No me juegues como ajedrez.
Getting a little closer on the firewall panel here, and you can see I put a couple bead rolled a couple X's in there for strength and for the look on the outside. Not sure how much you'll see when the headers and everything else is in here, but that gives it a cool look, I think. So I'm going to trim this to fit, and I'm going to tack it in here on the sides and then across the top there a little bit. And then I think the plan is going to be to build a lip that goes around the, use my shrinker, my stretcher, and bend up a little 90 and a little angle. Make a lip that goes around the bell housing there, and just gonna put something in there for strength. Maybe something, maybe leave it like a half-inch, 3/4 inch wide for now. And then the plan will be have my tunnel removable, and I'll make a lip on there that will actually bolt right into here. So that way I can always make my tunnels removable, and that way you can get transmission out and not to worry about if you can get the to the bell housing bolts from under the car. You just pull the transmission out, pull the bolts out, then it keeps your tunnel nice and tight, especially in these early cars where it's you're really fighting for space. And this one, it's going to be even worse because it's it's a 6-speed, it's a manual. So gotta make sure I got all the space I can use, and we'll go ahead and get this trimmed up and get this tacked in for you guys, and we'll just keep rolling with this. Coming out pretty cool. Working on getting this, making a ring here, I guess, to, I'm trying to think, to strengthen everything up. So I used my shrinker stretcher. Didn't video any of this because it just takes a tremendous amount of time. It's just watching me work it back and forth. I've bent up a little 1-inch angle here and just kind of followed the bell housing, and it's tacked on there right now. I'll go around here to the other side. Kind of worked my way around the starter there. Just give me clearance stuff in there. I need to pull the starter off this thing. And get in there and up around here. And like I said, it's just tacked on there right now. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull this whole deal out of here and scribe that and cut that. I will actually TIG weld that in one piece there, and then hammer and finish all that, get that strong. I also did this out here. And you can see some little details here that people probably will never notice, but that's the kind of made that little transition piece there. I cut that out of here, and you can see it was actually too long. This was the bottom here, so I cut it off. You can see how it still had a little, angle in it or whatever. And I went ahead and hammered that flat and tacked it on there. I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna scribe around that and weld that in also, and that'll make a nice little finished detail there. as far as I'm going to get it for today. I think I'm going to call this firewall part 2, and before we move on to finishing this up. But let me swing around here, guys, and show you guys what I got done. Okay, you can see a little, let's see, the little bump there. I got that tacked in there. It's going to line up pretty well. And you can see here, I got the stiffening rib, or whatever you want to call it. That's all welded in. Does need a little more hammering on that, so I'm going to go ahead and get that a little closer here. So that's close. And on this side here, and that's not in there right now, but I know the header kind of comes through like right here. So I'm going to build some kind of tunnel or something to bring that through. So I'm going to finish up in the next video here, get the hammer and the welding and everything done, and I'll get this tacked back in there. Once I do, I'll build that with that little tunnel, and we'll get this as far as we can get it. You know what's in the car in the next video, just because it's going to need to be finished on the outside of the car. It's just too hard to get it in everywhere and do everything. So we'll get it as far as we can, and then I'll get pop it out of the car. Probably not for a while, but we'll get that. So we'll get that posted up when we do that also and get it completely finished. So with that being said, I just want to thank you guys for watching, and this wraps up Firewall Part 2, and we'll see you next time at Ghetto Fab.